I think I found where every Swordsoul player that is wanted to top a regional this format went. Make sure you guys smash the living crap out of that subscribe button, and hey, 34% of you guys, come on, just one little click, that way you don't miss out on these regional updates. So the TCG Arena regional breakdown is here, and this is where every Swordsoul player went, actually. I have hardly seen any Swordsoul performing relatively okay. I mean, they'll show up every blue moon, but, like, that's it. Like, they haven't had any, like, sort of real good turnover here, and you know what? They got 2 into the top 8 of this event. You really gotta clap for it where it really shines, because a lot of people will kind of look around and be like, well, you know, I'm going to discount this. I mean, Swordsoul still performed, ladies and gentlemen. That means that they still had the chance to do the thing. It's a lot better than what I've seen out of a lot of other regionals where Swordsoul has just been an absolute fest. There's been nothing. Now, we also had 2 Sprite in the top cut for this event. Am I surprised about that? No, not at all. Sprite and Swordsoul, well, Sprite and Tier have been kind of duking it out this format between the regions, and just so happens that, oddly enough, that Tier only had 1 placement in this. I will say in some of these offbeat regionals, it does definitely feel like, you know, there's less Tier representation because people are just sick of it. And especially, you know, you think in like smaller regionals that there would be, you know, more Tier players, but more players would just rather cruise control of things. Flunderies ended up winning this event. All right, I see you, Flounder, finally getting some love out here. We also had a Draco Slayer in top cut. This, I think, puts us at 3 to 4 Draco Slayer that I have personally seen so far, so we're gonna keep that one running there. And we also had a branded Despia deck in top 8 as well. That's a lot to unpack, honestly. This is one of the more diverse events that I've had the chance to see so far, and I honestly am looking forward to seeing what other stuff will honestly come out of this format, because while it does look bad on paper, and we've said this before, just because it looks bad on paper doesn't mean it won't get the chance to shine. So let's pass on over to some of those yummy deck lists. Winning the event here was none other than Flonderies D's. Let's see here. So we had Dark Rule No Mores in here. No Mystic Minds. I know. Ever since Mystic Mind's been gone, it just hasn't been the same for Flaunder. Evenly matched in the main deck. You do need, like, the equalizers for this deck. It's very unfortunate, but that's just what you have to deal with right now. You have to rely on those cards to make the gaming field a lot easier. I do see we're citing Necro Valley down there. That's kind of interesting. We're also main decking the Featherstorms. Maybe main decking the Featherstorms is the way that we need to go this format for this deck to have any chance of really getting off the ground, because unfortunately nothing else has really been working for it. So kudos to this. This is actually not too bad. I don't see anything else out of 2 left field here. Obviously citing the Ultimate Slayers I think is more fine. Yeah, alright, looks pretty standard to me. Next up here, we have Draco Slayer. Wow, Draco Slayer! This is the second place finish that I've seen for Draco Slayer here, and I do see that we are playing the Odd Eyes package in here, so that you can Vortex Dragon and on up. Okay, interesting stuff. We are main decking the Necro Valley. Some builds have cut the Necro Valley as of late. I think that the value you're obviously going to get out of Necro Valley depends on, you know, the format itself. We are still focusing on buy steals, which is fine. I genuinely like the inclusion of the Odd Eyes package in here. It gives the deck a little bit extra of an oomph. We're also playing 2 of the Dynamorpheus spell card, citing Drake or Scarlight for time. Zombie World as a 1-of is fine. You can board out the Necro Valley, board that in if you really need to, depending on your matchup. Dimension Shifter and Bowls in the side. Yeah, everything else here is pretty standardized. Next up here, we have Tier Elements of Shizu. Alright, it's fine. It's a 1-of. It's okay. It's some of the time, but not all of the time. We are playing the 1 Herald of Orange Light I see here. We are playing all of the Ishizu cards. Holy crap. Okay, so we're on full commitment to this package. We are citing Baguska. Baguska Dweller and Cowboy are main outs I guess, things that we're going to be accessing for the format here. And we're also side decking Droll and Lockbird as well. So we have a lot of very good power cards the way it looks here. I also see that we are playing the Herald of Orange Light with the Diviners as well. So you're going to get some interesting little interactions there. We're not playing the Beatrice, though, to kind of supplement some of the sub-dumping options that you would normally see for a deck like this. But most of this looks pretty standard. All right, I am glad to see that standard is a standard B. Next up is Sprite. Now, let's be honest here. If at this point in the format, if you expect some like cheesy level 900 IQ innovation out of Sprite, you're not going to see it. I think your biggest takeaways from this list: buy steel package included of 2 Druid Worm, triple Magna Hut. Each of the negates for Sprite. Most of your Sprite package remains the same. Your Nimble package is also pretty much the same. We're main decking the double Dark Ruler, main decking the 1 Talents. 1 Talents has pretty much maintained itself as pretty much the go-to for the format. Like, either you're playing 1 or 2. Alright, there's not really much of a room to, like, kind of add on that. I also like the fact that we are playing the 1 Called by the Grave. Called by the Grave hasn't seen a lot of immense play as of late, but I do think that it is important that players are still kind of taking a note of it and paying attention to it, because it really is helping out here in those situations it does come up. Also, shout out to the Mosquito XYZ down there. That man actually gets the job done. Buzzwole is very swole. Next up here is our first Swordsoul list. Really sad to see that both of our Swordsoul list only made it into top 8, actually. So that's kind of interesting to take note of here. Shout out to my printer randomly just turning on. I love that thing. We also have down here double DD Crow, full 10E package. We're not getting cheesy with the 10Es, I see. Like playing the water one, playing the fire one. A lot of other builds we've seen have tried to do that, but it looks like... yeah, it doesn't look like we're getting too crazy with that. Double tie is still fine. We are maining double droplet, double talents, though. Okay, that's interesting. And, of course, still Pod Desires. Someday, maybe Pod Desires will go to 3, and this deck will get the chance to really shine in its full incarnation. I don't see anything else. The anti-spells are kind of cute in the side deck, but, you know, once again, your value that you're getting with this deck is pretty much set in stone, I feel like. Next up here is our second Sprite list. Wow, all the way back here. This build straight off the bat is playing triple copies of Skullmeister. Okay, I see you. I see that triple Magna Hut, double Druid Worm. You do know, some of these builds I've seen, they'll chuck in the 1 Saronir just to be like, hey, look, I'm playing triple Druid Worm, you know, or excuse me, double Druid Worm, triple Magna Hut, and the 1 Saronir, because they're going to open the brick. That's just how it is. Trust me, as somebody that has opened many a bricks in my life, you kind of start to diversify some of these options out here, because you're straight going to open up some of the worst unplayable hands that you're going to see. That's the curse of being a Yu-Gi-Oh player. You start to view this game much differently when you realize that variance doesn't actually exist, and you're just going to open up your one-ups every single game. So it's like, I got to make some sort of change there. So 6th place, yeah, I like the Skullmeister in here, and the Chaos down in the side deck as well. Next up here, we have our other Swordsoul list. So we are actually focusing on 1 Magna Hut, triple Druid Worm. So this deck wants to use the Druid Worm to spot removal any of those annoying-ass cards that they might come up with. Now, this is interesting. We're main decking 2 evenly, siding the 3rd. So I believe that this is in case this deck opts or gets forced to go second. It kind of needs a chance to equalize the playing field a little bit. And I think that the deck can do that. That's not typically unheard of, especially with a deck like as consistent as Swordsoul is, until you brick and you're like, the massive frustration. That's what it's also like to be a Swordsoul player. The bricks are bricky. All right, I don't see anything else here that really catches me off guard. This one is actually still focusing on playing the 1 Water 10E at the very least. And the last deck we have for you here is our branded list. Wow, this deck made its way all the way back to 8th place. Now, big things here. We are playing the Raw's Disciple, you know, with the trap interaction that you basically hand this over to your opponent, and your opponent can't play the game. You gotta love that. I also see that we are citing double Mash Change 2. So you can make Dark Law. Some of the time, but not all of the time. But Darklaw is an amazing card. All right, I see we're citing the Zombie World package. That's very standard. And of course, we're playing Scythe, so we can rotate out the Ra's Disciple, so you can cheese lock your opponent that way. How many ways can you have your opponent not have fun? Yu-Gi-Oh! Edition. So, what do you guys think about this regional breakdown? Please leave a comment down below. Tell me what you guys think, and I'll see your beautiful faces back here later in the day, guys. Peace. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.